Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be on my birthday. Oh my God, it was my birthday. And I turned 52 on the 25th. Woo! I'd like to say I turned 25 on the 52nd, but Anyway, I hope that whenever and wherever you happen to be on my birthday, that you are able to laugh at yourself and the hilarious circumstances that on occasion will present themselves to you. No matter what is going on in your life, there's always a way to find humor in what happens. Now, sometimes something will happen and it's not very funny at all, and you get really angry and you get really upset and you're just like, I can't believe this happened to me. And it might take years, and then you get to the other end of years and you go, oh my God, remember that one thing that happened? It was hilarious. It was so funny. Well, sometimes you're able to laugh at yourself right away. And you know, life sometimes is a big fat cosmic joke. And sometimes you make plans and they fall through, and sometimes God laughs while you're making plans. And sometimes everything seems so sweet and on the up and up, and then it ends up hilarious. Anyway, take culinary disasters for one thing. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Yesterday, my son said, I want to order everything I need to make you a no-bake cheesecake. Now, the reason we're doing no-bake is we do not have an oven. We moved into the house of a chef, but there was no oven. There's a stove, there's a barbecue outside, but there's no oven. It's so annoying. In fact, there's no room for an oven in this house. So it's really annoying, because not only is the landlady who owns this place, not only is she a chef, but her ex-husband, the reason she moved out, is a chef and owns a restaurant. It's like, what? How the hell could this have been your place? There's no oven. Anyway, my son says to me yesterday, I need to order groceries and I don't want you to look at them. You can't see what I'm ordering. And I'm like, okay, just let me know the amount. You know, don't go overboard. So he started adding stuff up happily, saying, don't look over my shoulder, and keeping my own tablet from me because I'm the one at the app. And he was like, oh my God, $135. I'm like, that better not be for cake only, right? And he's like, okay, I could take this off, I could take that off, I could get this, I could get that. Okay, $77 later, and that included, I mean, he bought some steak. Oh my God, we'll probably have that this week. And I already have a bunch of vegetables in there for salad, so we're gonna eat really well this week. And so he did good. He got water, he got a bunch of things that we needed for the house, so that was pretty cool. But okay, so I don't know. He was going back and forth between my tablet ordering this stuff and his cell phone where he had the recipe that he was looking at online. And it's supposed to be this gourmet, wonderful website. And so he got all the stuff. All the stuff arrived. He said, get upstairs. You can't see a thing. So he hid everything he had ordered for my birthday. And then this morning, he calls me from downstairs. He says, happy birthday. Good morning. I've made coffee. Oh my God. What a sweetheart, right? Oh my God. I was so excited. And I started to go downstairs. He's like, but don't come downstairs. And I hear clanging and banging and all this noise from downstairs. I heard the blender or the food processor going, or maybe both. All this commotion and chaos. What he's really good at, chaos. And all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And it started to smell really good. I'm like, he's making something amazing. All right, this is cool. It's all right. So I just, I waited and I laid in bed for a couple more hours, which was cool. All right. Having a lazy birthday. Happy with that. I'm not going to do any schoolwork today, even though I'm a little bit behind. I'm going to just enjoy my day with my son. So he says, okay, you could come downstairs. And then I'm like halfway down the stairs. Oh, hold on a minute. And I hear the freezer door open and the freezer door shut. And I go all the way downstairs. Like, hey, would you like some coffee? The kitchen's a disaster. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, let's have coffee. I'm not going to say a word about the kitchen. It's all good. It's cool. You know, I expected as much. So that's cool. We'll get them made by the end of the week. We're fine. And oh my God. So then he says, I can't stand it, Mama. You got to see your birthday cake. It's a no-bake cheesecake. And he pulls it out, and it's two-tone brown. It's kind of like a caramely color and a brown. And then I quickly realized, oh my God, he bought peanuts and made his own peanut butter. And then I notice on the counter, on our nice granite countertop that I just cleaned 2 days ago, whereas everything was spotless, there's all these Hershey's wrappers. And I'm like, oh my God. So this cream cheese that he had bought, he mixed with sugar and he mixed with melted Hershey's. It sounds awesome, right? So, and then I noticed that the cookies wrapper, we don't have graham crackers here, so he found the only cookie he knows in Ecuador to taste like graham crackers and put that through the food processor as well. And then I see a pan with the crumbs, and oh my God, he even made the crust. He made the peanut butter. This is amazing. And on top of this cake, there is raspberries and blackberries and the teeniest, tiniest little candles I've ever seen in my life, and they are adorable. They're like, in the very center, there's a queen with a crown, and like a little ballet slippers, and one's a little dress. This is like what you buy for like a 4-year-old birthday party, but I'm absolutely like loving every bit of this. This is so freaking adorable. Well, thank God he's not going to put 52 candles on the cake, because, we live in a wooden house, fire hazards being what they are. So the cake wasn't setting right. It wasn't setting. When you shake it a little bit, it was like Jell-O for like an hour in the fridge like this. And so my son said, I'm going to put it in the freezer for a couple hours. Okay, fine. Puts it back in the freezer, and we're sitting there, we're watching our show, our new show, Teenage Bounty Hunters, which is a little awkward to watch together, but we're getting through it, and it's such a good show. It is funny, and it's got its issues. It's got a couple social issues that we sit and talk about. But overall, it's a really good show. It's a brand new show on Netflix, and we were like, yeah, this is cool. This is it. And I get a little notice, and I go, oh my God. Okay, well, I had ordered a dozen authentic Mexican enchiladas, like shredded, like the chicken is hand shredded with a fork and everything done from scratch. And this is from my friend Rumi, who grew up in Los Angeles. Okay, he's half Ecuadorian, half Mexican American. He's got like grandparents in Mexico, right? So he grew up, around authentic Mexican food. And I'm like, oh my God, I know your Mexican food's going to be incredible because, you're like half Mexican. And I was not disappointed, by the way. Holy man, they made me cry. I looked at my son and I said, I just remembered when I was really little, my parents always threw a birthday party for me, invited no one I knew, but all of their friends. But those, the authentic chicken enchiladas that I made with my parents, and we learned from the people who came from Mexico, lived across the street from me, when I was growing up. And then we had some other friends that were Mexican, and like my stepmom would go around getting tips on how to make everything from everybody. And my grandma was my grandma Emma. She was in the Catholic Church, and she knew a lot of people that barely spoke English from Mexico, Mexican Americans, as well as people who had just like come to visit or ended up staying. And she learned a tip or two from cooking Mexican food. And I'm like, so it's like, if you've never had Mexican food, immediately try to get some. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you've never had it and you try it, you're going to love it. It's so good. It's not always super spicy. Some of it is, but this was spicy, but the perfect amount of spice. And Rumi is my friend's name, and he owns this little cafe called Nucalada. If you're in Cuenca, he's got the best coffee in town. It's maybe $1 more per kilo, but it's worth it. It's worth it. He's got dark roast and medium roast, and I met him at the writers' conference, and he's like one of the coolest people I've ever met. He like talks with an English accent. I mean, like Los Angeles, California English accent, okay? And it just makes me homesick. It makes me homesick for LA. I'm just like, I'm always gonna be an LA girl at heart, but this food, it made me cry. My parents, God rest their souls, they're both dead. My stepmom and my dad, the ones who raised me, my mother who raised me until I was 5, but all these people who always embraced the Mexican culture. And like, we would go down, my mom would take me to Olvera Street, where I'd have authentic tamales and taquitos but everything, the enchiladas, it was like, it was a ritual in our house to make enchiladas. And if you are what you eat, I must be half Mexican, because, oh my God, I love Mexican food so much. So I had the Mexican food coming, and then I get a notification from this place we just discovered that makes shawarma. And my son's like, he just looked at me and he's like, Mom, please. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to buy 6 shawarmas, like chicken shawarma, and with chips and soda. And we never ever drink soda. So with both of the foods we bought, we got 2 things of soda in the house, which is hilarious. One of them was sugar-free. It's always random. One was Pepsi, one was Coca-Cola, which is appropriate because coca grows here in Ecuador. And yes, there's still coca in Coca-Cola, but it is part of the bitter flavor of the soda, but it makes it really good, right? But also why it settles your tummy if you're sick. Anyway, so this was our day. Our whole day was about eating having food and eating and having conversation and watching our show and stopping our show to talk about stuff and just having really good conversation. We had a great day together. But all day my son's like, I want to try the cake. Let's have the cake. Let's eat cake first. Life's uncertain. Eat dessert first, right? That's what you always say, Mom. How many times in your life have you always had your cake first before the meal? I'm like, oh, I'm holding out for those enchiladas. Well, the shawarma came first. So I'm like, okay, there's 6. We're going to have 3 each. I ate 2 and I said, surprise. I actually got you 4. I always planned it. And I said, what I want for my birthday is for you to be full. You're a growing teenage boy. I need you for once in your life to feel full and just like at the end of the day, be satisfied. Like, oh, I finally got enough food. So he's like, that is so awesome. I love that, so I even bought brownies. I bought birthday brownies because Rumi has amazing brownies, like thick on the frosting and just good brownies. So that, literally, I don't even think about food hardly at all, ever, but it was my birthday, so I just focused on it for the one day, right? But my son kept going, oh, we should have it. He kept getting it out of the freezer, and, oh, look at this cheesecake. It's so beautiful. I hope it's good, and I'm like, all right, it looks good. And after a while, we're looking at this thing and we're like, it's kind of growing a little bit. It's like weird. So we get a spoon and we take the spoon around the edge and get, so it doesn't drip. Okay. And then, 20 minutes later, now it looks, we have to do it again. And again, like 6 or 7 times. And it kept like oozing out the side of our glass pan or pie plate. And I'm like, this thing is like the Blob. It's like, I'm afraid it's going to take over the town. And we were like making fun of it. We were like laughing about it, but we were having a great time. Because one thing we love to do is we love to make really good food. We love to cook together. That's what we did all weekend. In fact, maybe tomorrow I'll show you some of the things we made over the weekend. I like to make spaghetti sauce from scratch, and I like to make salads, and he makes really amazing food. So we made stir fry together over the weekend. We did a lot of fun stuff, lots of stuff with vegetables. So so today was like an anomaly to have stuff with hardly any vegetables, and then with this massive cheesecake he made. So finally, after we ate and we were full, and oh my God, was it good food today. And that's the other thing. I always make food at home. I never order out. And I ordered out for 2 things today. So it was like it was more of a celebration day. And so we're sitting here and my son's like, okay, here it is. This is it. And he goes to cut it. And as he cut it, he's like, wow, the candles. Well, we lit the candles. But because it was frozen, it took a while to light the candles. Half of the candles were burned down by the time we got the other half of the candles lit because the candles were frozen. They wouldn't catch on fire. And we were laughing our asses off. We're both here with matches. We're both trying to light it. We're trying to make sure our sleeves don't catch on fire while we were laughing our asses off and making fun of like the circumstance around the cake. I'm like, there's a lot of peanut butter on this thing, I hope this is going to be good. It sounds good, Reese's peanut butter cheesecake sounds amazing. And so we're like trying to light it. We're lighting it. And I'm like, oh my God, the candle's already starting to go out. I haven't made my birthday wish. Like, this is becoming ridiculous. We're laughing and laughing. And then and then my son's like, okay, after I blew out the candles, made my wish and whatnot, he starts to cut the cake. And we noticed that when you move the candles, the whole cake moves like it's Jell-O. And we're like, what the hell? He's like, Mom, there's no reason that this should be this way. It's only sugar and cheese, or cream cheese, and chocolate, melted chocolate. I mean, cheesecake and chocolate, when you get them cold, get pretty solid. But this thing is like Jell-O. It's like a Jell-O that hasn't set, and it's been 6 hours now. And we're like, what the actual hell is wrong with this? Except for the peanut butter, which is extremely solid. It's solid on top. So he goes to cut it, and then as he cuts it, he's like, I'm trying not to say anything, and I'm like, I'm gonna love it. This is gonna be great. And he's like, you know what? I think, okay. He's like, well, I'll put it in your plate, and then I'll put it on my plate. But I think I want to try it first, just in case, because I don't know. I'm like, okay. And so he puts it. So he gets a piece, and it starts drooping down, and it's hanging like 3 or 4. It's like dripping. It's like hanging 3 or 4 inches down below the spatula, and he puts it on my plate, and he has to kind of scrape it onto my plate. And as he does so, the whole thing comes completely discombobulated, and the chocolate part, that's the chocolate cheesecake part, looks like pudding covered in graham cracker crumbs, and then the other part is just peanut butter with raspberries sticking out of it. And I'm trying not to say anything, and he's trying not to say anything. We're both trying not to laugh. We're like, this is so ridiculous. So then he gets his part on his plate. He's like, let me try it first. I'm like, okay, great. And he takes a bite out of it, and he goes, oh my God. He's like, it tastes like peanut butter and jelly. And he's like, and he goes, quick, eat the raspberries. Just eat the raspberries. Okay. So I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna roll with it. I like peanut butter and jelly. Who doesn't love peanut butter and jelly? He's like, how the hell does the berries taste like jelly when they're like fresh? They're fresh raspberries. They were just picked like 2 days ago. Wow. You know, and he's like getting upset, and I'm like, I'm going to keep an open mind. Everything's going to be great. And he goes, I don't know. This is weird. I think I like it. I don't know. You try it. I'm like, okay. I looked at him. I'm like, moment of truth. Like, we've been waiting all day. I take a bite. And the bite that I take is the peanut butter part with the raspberry. I take a bite, and it tastes exactly like an old peanut butter sandwich. And I looked at him, and I burst into complete hysterical laughter. I could not speak. I just dropped the spoon, and I have to. I'm afraid I'm going to pee my pants. I'm laughing so hard, just to be honest, laughing so freaking hard. I ran in the bathroom, and my son, is it that bad? Is it that bad? And as I'm biting this, he looks at me and he goes, Mom, it tastes like peanut butter jelly sandwich. You should eat the berries first. And as I put that first bite in my mouth, he holds his hand up in warning, and he goes, mistakes were made. It was when he said mistakes were made. That's when I lost it. Mistakes were made. And I ran upstairs. I was like, I don't want to pee my pants. Oh my God, I'm laughing so hard. And so I finally composed myself after like 10 or 15 minutes. I couldn't stop laughing. And then he says, okay, are you okay? I'm like having an asthma attack because I was laughing so hard, and I'm like taking my inhaler. I'm laughing so hard, like tears I can't even see. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. How could it taste this bad? I'm like, look, maybe I'm being mean. After all the buildup of expectation, you were disappointed. You held your hand up and said mistakes were made. So I go back down. I'm like, okay, compose myself. I sit down, and I'm like, oh my God, look at the candle. The main candle, the little princess or queen candle in the middle of the cake. And she has a tear like I'm like, you've made the queen of the candles cry. And we were laughing so hard. I took a picture. It's already up on Instagram. You guys are going to see what he made the queen of the candles cry with this horrible cheesecake. And he's like, I don't know what the hell went wrong. There's nothing that would go wrong with the ingredients. And he told me, we went over it. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the cheesecake went bad. I don't know what happened. And so I'm like, I'm going to try the chocolate part now because I didn't try it yet. I'm like, this is going to be good. And I put the bite in my mouth and I made them, it was like I was eating a sour lemon. And I was just like, it's like, I don't want to spit it out and be rude. I don't want to swallow it either and die. I don't know what's going on with this cake. And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and he's laughing. He's like, what's wrong? I go, well, it's too sour. You didn't use lemon. He's like, no. And I'm like, well, what happened? He's like, I don't know. Like, how the hell can sugar be so sour? How can the chocolate be so sour? Was the cream cheese in date? He's like, yeah, I mean, obviously we just got it yesterday from the store, just fresh. Okay, that's no problem there. We don't know what the hell happened with this cake. And I'm like, okay, and try it again. And I was like, whoa, this is bad. It smells like a freaking foot. And he's like, is that what that is? He's like, okay, let me smell it. He goes, no, but it smells good. And he put it in his mouth. He goes, oh my God, it's like a foot. How the hell does this cake taste like foot? But I'm like, well, let's just eat around that part. We'll just eat the peanut butter and jelly part. He says, this is like a peanut butter jelly sandwich after you've gone on a summer field trip to a museum and then sat in the bus for 3 hours. And when you get out to the bus and you get your sack lunch and you're like in kindergarten, you know, and you're like really hungry and you bite into it and you're just so disappointed. And then oh my God, I was laughing so hard at the way he was dissing on his own cake. And I'm like, we came to the conclusion that this website where he got the recipe, they just did not give a good recipe because it was terrible. And we don't know why. We've kept it. It's still in the freezer. We're going to try to figure it out. I'm like, maybe we could rinse the peanut butter off and have sandwiches because the peanut butter was really good. But I don't know. Sour and chocolate just don't mix together somehow. It wasn't the altitude because it was a no bake. Didn't need to rise. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyway, oh my God. I mean, it's a beautiful cake. I put it on Instagram. You guys can go see it. Absolutely beautiful. He worked his heart out on this thing. But the recipe, I think, or maybe it was just the cream cheese is terrible. We didn't get a brand we normally use. I don't know what happened. We really don't know what happened. We still don't know what the hell happened. But after we tried to eat as much of this as we could, and then we're like, that's it. We're just done for a while. And then my son drinks a glass of water, and he goes, oh no. And he got this concerned look on his face, and he ran upstairs to his bathroom, and he came back down about 15 minutes later, and he goes, so the cake doesn't really mix with water. He says, it was like I was channeling Linda Blair in there. I was projectile vomiting. I'm like, holy shit. You know, and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what happened. But he's just like, don't drink water anywhere near this cake. Don't drink water before or after or during. There were 13 candles on the cake. I mean, 13 times 4 is 52. It was the only candles he could get from the store. And, you know, we're in quarantine still, 7 months going. I don't know what happened. It's like, 13 is the number of death. We feel lucky to be alive after eating half a piece of this cake. Anyway, that's my hilarious cake story. That's my birthday story. But the point is, and my son and I love, like, when we make a culinary disaster, we like just dissing on it and laughing about it. You know, because I know that's not who he is as a chef to be. his food is amazing, and my food is amazing. And I mean, he looked at me and he said, okay, Mom, we need to get an oven, because when we get an oven, I really want you to make your cheesecake, because your cheesecake is amazing. I'm like, yes, it is. And there's a couple things he'll say, okay, look, I will cook everything for us except your spaghetti sauce. And, and he has his things that he knows I do really good, that I'm really good at, so he has a list in his mind of the things that like are my realm cooking wise. But it's one of the things we love. We've always loved cooking together ever since he was little, and my oldest kid too. So we had a good time, and I was proud of him for making this beautiful cake. But I don't know what went wrong, but next time we will be doing like an actual bake cheesecake, and probably it's gonna be a while, if never will we ever try another chocolate peanut butter thing. Like, it was like the Reese's peanut butter thing is what we were going for, right? Is the idea. And I should have just let him do the strawberry one, because I love strawberries. But I recently saw something about parasites in strawberries, which freaked me out. And it's natural, normal, and we've been eating them our whole lives. But when you put strawberries in cold salt water, the parasites come out of the strawberries, and it takes about 10 minutes, and then you rinse them off and there's no more parasites, and bada boom, bada bing, you're fine. And you're always going to be fine because they're edible and they don't hurt us. But the idea that they're there freaks people out. Is once you know this, you may never eat another strawberry. And what's the opposite of you're welcome? I'm so sorry, I just told you that. But I mean, it's creepy, right? And that's the only reason we didn't do a strawberry one, but which we ought to have. But I'm like, okay, we've got to perfect this one a little bit more before we take this one public. If we ever have a restaurant, this is not going to be on the menu. He's like, oh my God, maybe we can make this for our enemies. I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, they might be able to sue us. Oh my God. But when you have a culinary disaster, when it's fun to, make fun of it and just, and accept that, okay, this one didn't work out. It's probably the recipe. It's one of the ingredients was bad or something, and it's okay to move on from there and just, okay, whatever. But sometimes we make mistakes in life, and sometimes they're hilarious. And you have to see the humor in it as soon as humanly possible. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it could take 10 years before you see the humor in it. You have to learn and grow quite a bit before you're able to laugh at yourself. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's really and truly, it's one of those things that you're... it's just something that you got to learn, I had a couple things that happened to me when I was a kid. I'm not going to go into it, but I mean, things that were not very funny at all, where other people said, you need to learn to laugh at yourself. And it was them covering their tracks about abusing me, basically, hurting me and then laughing because I fell, or that I got hurt because, oh, that's so funny. Yeah, hurt the 5-year-old. That's hilarious, right? It's not funny. It's not funny at all. But, and I don't mean like that. I don't mean like, if you fell off a ladder and that was hysterically funny. Well, it might be funny the way it looks to other people. But the fact that if you get hurt, that's not too funny, right? Just like the video of the man being, with a cat being hurled out, and the cat jumped from, it looked like in the video, it looked like he just jumped from the sky. The cat landed just on this man's head and knocked him out, just crumpled him. And he was an old man, and it was very, once you realize he's an old man and look, he's not getting up, and he ended up 23 days in the hospital with a contusion on his head from a cat jumping on his head. It literally looked like it fell out of the sky. And I mean, to the point where the dog got angry. The dog that was walking with the man got angry and cornered the cat and was like confronting it. Like, what the hell did you just do? You know, to my master. And I told you guys that this in the last Friday's episode in the weekly Weird World News section of the show. I mean, it was like crazy, you know, and it's like that kind of thing. I don't mean like that, but sometimes like you make a mistake and it's hysterically funny, you know. Like I remember one time I was lazy and I didn't get a new outfit to go to the mall, and my boyfriend had come over and we had had a wild night together, lots of alcohol involved. And it's like I need to go get new, you know, this is so embarrassing, but I got new underwear, right? And I got, you know, like a new shirt, but I'm going to put on my old jeans because, you know, I only wore them yesterday. All right, fine. And I forgot that when I took them off, my other underwear was inside them. Okay, very embarrassing story, but this is what I did. And I can laugh about it now because it's freaking funny. So I'm walking in the mall with him where we're going to go shopping before I drop him off at his work. And as we're walking in the mall, people were giving me the weirdest looks, like dirty looks, like what the hell's wrong with you sort of looks. And apparently my underwear that I had on the day before inside my jeans, which I forgot I had done that, had worked its way down my jeans and had hooked onto the Velcro of my shoe. And as I'm walking, my little panties were like flip-flopping all over, like they were like dragging on the floor, but hooked onto my shoe. And people are looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm looking at them like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, take a picture, it'll last longer. I had no idea this was happening to me. Another time in high school, I was at high school, like, you know, when you're a teenager, everything's such a big deal. I can laugh at it now, but oh my God, I was mortified. I think I stayed home the next day. I was so embarrassed. I had worn a dress. I wanted to feel beautiful and wear a dress and feminine because normally I was wearing jeans, you know, and the other girls were starting to wear dresses. It was springtime in Minnesota, so it was starting to be warmer out, so I wore a dress. And I was so excited. Now, this is back in the days when we wore pantyhose and we wore slips, which is like a dress under a dress. It's like an insane dress under a dress. But we don't do this anymore. But, and it's a good reason we don't wear pantyhose anymore. And anyway, I had, somehow, I went to the bathroom during lunch. And on the way out of the bathroom, no one bothered to tell me. And for 4.5 hours, I walked around the school with the back of my dress and my slip tucked into my pantyhose. So the front of my dress looked normal, and I didn't know. And like 4 hours, people were laughing and snickering around me like they thought it was hysterically funny. And it was. I didn't find it so damn funny. I mean, I was so mortified. I was like, oh my God. So basically people were like staring at my underwear and my dress tucked into my pantyhose. Imagine what that looks like, you know. And I mean, I've had a lot of wardrobe malfunctions. I am not a fashion person at all. I play the COVID fashion game because I'm hoping I will pick up something. And I very rarely make any like rewards, and people don't like my stuff because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I really just don't. And I'm like, oh, I'm just like a fashion nightmare. If the fashion police exist, I mean, there's a wanted poster with my name on it, with underwear hanging off my shoe and my dress tucked in my pantyhose. I mean, because I don't know. I've always had my own kind of quirky ass style, and I look like, you know, half my days I look like a freaking hobo. And I think the other half of my days I would look like a clown. I don't know. I don't think I dress very well. I really don't. In fact, I'm so excited about a hat I just bought. It's a witch hat. I just literally bought a witch's hat. I'm hoping that will look good on me, and I'll take a picture and put it on Instagram for you guys. But I mean, sometimes mistakes happen. Things happen to you, and you have to be able to let it go and laugh about it, I remember one early morning I was putting deodorant on in public. And I didn't think anyone would see me because no one was on the road. And as soon as I got the deodorant out and I had my hand up my shirt trying to put the deodorant on, all of a sudden people were like right there. It was like I was sitting on a bus bench and no one was around. The bus wasn't coming for 10 more minutes. I'm safe. I got 10 minutes where it's like 7 in the morning. No one's going to see me. And like 30 strangers saw me put deodorant on. And I was so embarrassed. And I'm like, I'm going to turn this lemon into lemonade. So I wrote a poem about it. And that was one of my poems that I read for years in LA as a featured poet all over Los Angeles back when I was doing spoken word poetry. I mean, I took my most embarrassing moments and I turned them into poetry that other people hopefully could relate to. Otherwise, they were just laughing at me. But that's okay. Hey, I'm getting people to laugh and bringing joy and mirth into the world one way or the other. I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me, as long as you're laughing, and it's good for your immune system, and hey, whatever. So, I mean, hey, sometimes I serve as an example. Sometimes it's not a good example. It's a bad example, but it's an example. Hey, it's just the way I am. Heyoka shaman, I'm a Heyoka lightning shaman. It's just who I am. It's what I do. Anyway, it is what it is. So I hope that whenever and wherever in the world you happen to be, that you are actually able to laugh at yourself sometimes and not take yourself so seriously and not take life so seriously, and don't get so mortified and embarrassed that you can't go to school or work the next day or show your face up in your group of friends. I mean, you could always turn it around. I'll tell you one more hilarious story, and then we're going to go into the space weather news and the card of the day. And so this is it. One time I had this amazing shirt that was probably like from the 1950s, and it was a really sexy shirt. Back in the day when I was thin and beautiful, and it was like kind of a turquoise and green shirt. Again, I miss fashion. Was another fashion faux pas. And it was a button-up shirt, and it had like a little collar on it, and it was almost like a bowling shirt kind of style, but not quite. And it was like wild, like paisleys and flowers on it, and the colors were amazing. And I got this shirt for like $5 in Silver Lake at a thrift store that my girlfriend at the time, I was dating her, and we would go out and we would hit up all the most amazing neighborhoods for the vintage clothes, because that was the thing. So half my days I was dressing goth, and half the days I was wearing vintage clothes that I got for like hardly any money. I mean, in the kids, I used to work, and after that, about a year after that, I was working in a group home, and the kids were always making fun of me, like, how much did you pay for that shirt? And I'd be like, $5. I'd be proud of myself because queen of deals. And they'd be like, so your whole outfit, and they're like calculating it is like about $20. And they were like laughing their asses off. They're like, dude, my shoes cost $100. How the hell are you able to wear, and you look good, and then they'd like laugh. They try not to laugh. I'm like, I know I don't look good, right? But it is my own crazy, quirky style. Anyway, and so anyway, this shirt, I ended up in a car accident, and I needed a lawyer to take my case. So when I went in to get the lawyer to convince him to take my case, I was wearing this shirt, and the top button had a habit of popping open, and I'm kind of a busty lady, and I mean, it popped open, And in this time, I was talking to him, I was sitting down, I leaned forward, and 2 buttons popped open. So I'm giving him like the full Monty. It was, and I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. Wasn't on purpose, obviously. And I'm like, I just really need you to take this case, because you know what? I'm in pain. I need help. My neck hurts. And he's like, and he know how to say. He was so embarrassed. His secretary walked in, she saw it, she started laughing and walked out. And he just looked at, he's like, you got a little thing there, you gotta, oh God. And he's like, try not to look, and he's like looking out the window, he's like, you gotta, if you want me to continue to talk to you today, you're gonna have to put your shirt back on. You just gotta go back on. And I'm like, oh my God. I look down and I'm like, oh honey, I need you to take the case no matter what. I'm trying every which way here for you to say yes to me, right? And he started laughing, and I started laughing. I turned it into a joke immediately, because obviously that's not who I am, and it's not what I meant. Like, and then I wore the same shirt when I went to school, and did the same thing while I was talking to this woman. And I'm like, maybe I'm just trying to date you. She was like, your shirt. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to date you. You're so sexy. And she started laughing, and I started laughing. She's like, I'm straight. I go, I know, I was just kidding. This stupid shirt. I need to give the shirt away. I gave it away to somebody that did not have the same problem that I did. But you need to learn to laugh at yourself. If you could do it immediately, the more it's better, right? The jokes are better. I considered keeping the shirt and just coming up with other lines, but alas, I had to just give up the shirt. It was such a bummer, as it was my favorite shirt. But now that button, it betrayed me every damn time. It was so embarrassing. I'm like, no way, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. Learn to laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously, and understand that sometimes it's a universe is laughing with you, sometimes at you. But anyway, that's the big message for the day. All right, let's go over to spaceweather.com and see what we can see over here. Right now, the solar wind speed is 365.2 kilometers per second. We've been 4 days now without a sunspot, so we're still at solar minimum, and it's still going strong. So we'll see as the days go by. There is a really weird phenomena they discovered on Mars. Part of Mars is glowing, but it's in a spiral pattern, and it's very weird. If you want to check out this picture, it's on spaceweather.com. There's a really long article about it, but I think it has something to do with the way the planet rotates. But at the same time, it's literally a spiral planet. From the center of the planet, it's a counterclockwise spiral around from the center all the way out to the outer part, and it's very, very odd. So you might be interested in seeing that. Let's see. Right now, we've had a 0.3% increase in the past 48 hours in the neutron counts. That means we're getting cosmically radiated more than normal, and we are at 10% of the space age average, which is very high. If you've been feeling a lot more ascension symptoms, that could be it. Even my son was feeling like really, his muscles were starting to really hurt, and we both started sneezing our heads off. It might be because of the cheesecake, but our symptoms were really crazy. My throat was swollen. Asthma has been worse for about 3 days. There have been weirder symptoms like that. I think that my lungs are detoxing themselves. I don't know from what. I don't smoke, but just in general, that is, you normally will detox through the elimination way stations, or your skin or your lungs. And I think that we've all started to detox randomly lately, and that's just a thing. You can detox from the bottom of your feet, but only if you buy those foot pads from China. And the Dollar Tree in the United States and the 99-cent store, sometimes they'll carry them, but you're only going to buy like one or two, two pads for like $1. It's not like you get the full set for a month or something. but they are really, truly worth it. Anyway, so the coronal hole in the sun, we just felt that solar wind just came at us in the past few hours. I've been feeling it quite a bit. The noctilucent clouds are almost completely gone, which is sad, but they'll be back probably next year if you want to see them, or you could go to YouTube. I'm sure there's a lot of videos of them. A lot of people are like, what the hell, it's day in the middle of the night, oh my god, and they don't understand about noctilucent clouds. So I've seen a couple videos like that, which is kind of funny. So if you really want to see from people knowing what they are, you might want to look up the words noctilucent. It's spelled Noctilucent. So there's been all kind of wild, sporadic fireballs over the United States. It is crazy. Some of the trajectories were really fast, some were very slow. And all 27 fireballs were sporadic this time. And this is from the NASA All-Sky cameras and the All-Sky Fireball Network, because NASA has been monitoring for quite some time now the meteoroid environment over the U.S. because it's very, very odd. So anyway, that's it for space weather. And as far as the Schumann resonance is concerned, we have had 12 on the Schumann resonance scale. That's it, 12 hertz frequency. And that is from disclosurenews.it. And unfortunately, heartmath.org hasn't had an update in 8 days. I don't know why. They might be having issues with their server again. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm just not going to report on literally what they said 8 days ago, because I've already reported that. So hopefully they will get that fixed really fast. All right, so before I started recording, I have gone ahead and done the card of the day. I did my pendulum over my 4 card decks, and today was chosen for us the Everyday Witch Tarot. It's already up on Instagram. That's at mermaidgirl888, and I have 8 slides that you can see. You have to slide it to the left. I've just got a basic cover picture of me turned into a cartoon, which I've been wanting to use for a long time. I liked this picture. It looks like a very old album cover, from the 1970s. It made me kind of nostalgic when I put this one together. So there's that, and you can see pictures of the disaster cake as well as the crying candle, the crying queen of the candles, and also the card of the day and what it means from the Everyday Witch Tarot app, which is $3.99. I highly recommend it. It is actually really amazing. But today the card that came out of the deck as I was shuffling, this is a card for the whole collective, is the 7 of Pentacles. And what's really weird is I did get this for myself in a reading about a week ago, and I asked about my twin flame. So I had to ask and double ask and triple ask, are you sure this is for the soul family, soul tribe, the collective? And the answer was yes, every time. So the 7 of Pentacles, it's a very beautiful card. It's got peridot green. That's my birthstone. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is what the card says. 7 of Pentacles, how does your garden grow? At a certain point in any endeavor, it is good to stop and take stock, but sometimes all you can do is wait for things to come to fruition. So there you go. Let's see. Now something happened with the card. The app is freaking out. Why? Okay, so the question is, do you have any long-term projects coming to fruition? Have you been waiting for something important? Odds are this card means that you are getting close, but resist the urge to push harder in the hopes of making things happen faster, because it won't help and it might hurt. If you are on the verge of something, you might have to be patient and wait to see what happens. But the Seven of Pentacles is a good sign for you. So you might want to take a deep breath and try to relax. So, all right. It says you have planted the seeds, tended the growing shoots to the best of your ability. Now all you can do is wait and see how things turn out. The Seven of Pentacles is not about making more effort. The time for that has passed. Now is when you take a good look at what you've accomplished and assess it thoughtfully as you can. Are the results what you hoped for? Will your efforts continue to grow and prosper? Only time will tell for sure. But the Seven of Pentacles is an indication that you are getting close to seeing what harvest your hard work will bear. All right, so keep this in mind. What happened was when I did my reading for myself the other day, I got that card. And I was like, for days, I was like working on myself. Okay, am I afraid of the relationship? Am I afraid of anything happening in the relationship? Am I worried about the way I look? Am I worried about the lack of money I have? Am I worried about my lack of prospects for money at this very moment? And then I got that card and I'm like, oh, all right. I have done all my shadow work. I've done all my inner work. I'm done with all my karmic relationships. Everything I worked for to bring my twin flame into union with myself. From my end, I'm done. I'm ready. Done judging myself. I love myself completely. I'm done. I'm ready. And the reason he's not with me, he's not ready. So I had to start looking into him, and he and I were telepathing, and I don't know him in person yet. He's never written me. I think he's famous, so I can't just find him and write to him, because then he's going to think I'm a fan. He is actually famous. And so I have to wait for him to contact me in my little podcast, you know? So I got that card and I was like, oh yeah, all right. So if you're looking for your twin flame, maybe it's not you, it's him. You know, you're waiting for him. So, or her, and you got to go, hey, telepath with this person and say, hey, do you have this feeling? And if they say yes, heal it in yourself so that you can heal it in them. Heal it in yourself so you can heal that thing in them. And that's how that works. I feel like I'm just like days away. Remember, there's a new wave of people getting ready to meet each other in September. That's coming up like in 6 days, guys. So don't lose hope. And September is 30 days long. So don't lose hope. Okay? If you are a twin flame, you know you're incarnate with your twin and you haven't met yet in the real world. Real, but you know what I mean. It's going to happen. But keep working on yourself. And the Seven of Pentacles, if you are a twin looking for your partner, very much possible that you're okay and you're ready. And it's just a matter of timing now, divine timing. But for all other projects as well, Pentacles can mean money. Seven can mean it has to be connected to your spirituality and your divine guidance as well. So if you want to hear or read again what I just read to you, it is on my Instagram feed at mermaidgirl888. I put it up there so you can read it and see it for yourself. And there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I am channeling Paramahansa Yogananda for my birthday channeling. Pretty cool, right? All right, we're going to be right back after these messages. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Happy August, guys. I wanted to extend to you my birthday special. I was born this month and I wanted to do something for you guys. Normally, my readings are $111 for a tarot reading or a psychic mediumship reading. That means I can basically help you talk to any of your deceased loved ones, your higher self, even God himself, or any of the ascended masters that you've always wanted to have a conversation with. What you need to do is just contact me at mermaidgirl888 on Instagram. Just direct message me and let me know you're interested in having the birthday special $88 reading. That is $33 less than my normal price. And as always, my cloud readings are also available at $33. So there you have it. Happy August. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, guys, I am here connected with Paramahansa Yogananda. He was a yogi that lived a long time ago. He died, I think, in the 70s, the 1970s, maybe the 1960s. He came to the United States in the 40s, I believe. Maybe even in the 30s. I can't remember. Anyway, he is one who authored the book Autobiography of a Yogi. And if you ever wanted a really interesting read, this is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Most autobiographies, people are saying, I did this and I did that and I accomplished this and I was able to do that. And when you read this autobiography, it's different because he's not bragging on himself at all. In fact, he is very humble, and his book is enormous because it was more like, I met this person and I met that person and they're so wonderful and they're amazing because of this, because of that. He met a lot of saints and a lot of ascended masters, and it's a really incredible book. It talks about gurus in India, people who are fake, people who are real, how you tell the difference basically. And you're going to need a dictionary because his words are really intense. His English skills are beyond most people that grow up speaking English, to be honest. And you're going to need a box of Kleenex because his stories are so incredibly sweet that if you read this book all the way through, it feels so incredibly empowering and loving And it makes you cry because it's so sweet. It humbles you, how humble he is. And his sweetness and his love will rub off on you. The other thing is about Paramahansa Yogananda is that he is with anybody and everybody who reads his book. So if you go and buy this book and you have it in your hands, while you're reading it, he'll be sitting there quietly in the room with you, beaming love and light at you. And if you don't understand a passage, he will try to send you the energy of understanding so that you can understand what he meant by something that he said. I didn't know this when I read the book, but later I started to hear his voice after I finished reading the book and started to take his spiritual lessons through Self-Realization Fellowship, which is srf.org if you want to check it out. His energy comes from the Mother God side more than the Father God side. He's very gentle and very sweet, very kind man. And I don't know, I really relate to him. He's an incredible person. And without further ado, we're going to start channeling him right now. Before we get into it, though, I'm going to let you know, because I have noticed, and welcome aboard to all of you people who are brand new to the show. I have a lot more listeners than before. So when I channel somebody, I do it indirectly. I do all my channeling via telepathy. Sometimes my voice will change because I'm trying to match their sometimes accent, but rhythm and cadence of the voice of the person or being that I'm trying to channel. And so during this, it will seem like I'm channeling them directly, but I am not. I'm just trying to give you an authentic experience to the best of my ability. And so when I hear the voice of the person, I will relay it to you the way that I hear it. So sometimes I'll stop and question stuff if it doesn't sound right or if I'm not hearing it right. And I do use muscle testing or kinesiology to make sure and determine that, yeah, that is the thing that I did feel. So, or that is the thing that I did hear. And when I do channel, I hear and feel emotions, and I'll hear the words, and I'll hear sounds that are not words, and I will see pictures without words, and I have to unravel the whole thing at once. Also, I will feel emotions in my body, and then I'll understand the nature of the question that way. Phew, God, guys, we are being bombarded right this minute with a lot of cosmic radiation. I just got very cold. Suddenly, I was very, very hot. So hot, cold then followed by hot, and then very, very sleepy. And I just sitting up, getting ready to channel, and all of a sudden, you could tell I started to get a little tired there. I splashed water on my face, and now I'm gonna go. Now here we are. So without further ado, I'm going to indirectly telepath Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi, and he is in I'm assuming the other side. He's in heaven, I suppose. Maybe he'll let us know about that, or maybe he has another message he wanted to say. So I'm going to allow him to go ahead and say it. So go ahead, Paramahansa Yogananda. Welcome to the show. You may begin transmission now. I'll say that. Okay, he says, Namaste. Greetings and hello. It is I, Paramahansa Yogananda. Many of you call me Guruji, Many of you call me Yogananda Ji. I am grateful for all of your beautiful thoughts and prayers and your high vibrational energy that you have sent my way over the decades, especially since my last smile, the day of my samadhi. I am so truly grateful to see how many students have come my way, how many people have been brought to the fold of my bosom in the format of my teachings since my passing. It was truly a blessing and a gift to work for Divine Mother, to work for Heavenly Father in the capacity of being a grand spiritual teacher. I am so grateful for that experience, having been on earth and gone through that. Yes, I did become famous, and yes, I did attract to myself so much money that I was able to build schools of learning in India. I was able to build many different locations in the United States, and I was able to somehow manage to get the word out that went all over the world and have helped thousands, millions of people through my teachings. I never could have done this on my own. I never could have done this alone. I had the help of God. God was at the forefront and the heart of everything that I did. I loved God with a passion. I still do. And I encourage you to understand who God is and who she is, who he is to you as an individual outside of your traditional and typical religions. Because did you know, I have said in books, God is closer to you than your own jugular vein. God is in each individual cell. And every cell, if you allow the energy to flow through you, will rejoice in the presence of that God within. When you rejoice in the presence of that God within, what will happen is nothing shy of a miracle. Maybe he said short, nothing short of a miracle. He means nothing short of a miracle. When you allow that high vibrational God energy to come forth and be allowed to shine in every cell because it's already there. When your mind consciously vibrates with that energy of each individual cell, what takes place is that your body heals. You will lose weight that you've been wanting to lose. You will feel great and have energy beyond measure. Energy that you had no idea you could muster up inside of you. When you allow that energy of God, that high vibration of God, to shine forth in every cell in your body, you're going to vibrate higher. And when you vibrate higher, and especially when coupled with the correct meditation and breathing techniques, and even for some of you, the correct food and the correct regimen of exercise and sleep ratios. When you do all of this, you're going to start to understand completely and truly the deeper spiritual, esoteric truths that maybe you've been feeling has been hidden from you. Other people seem to get it and not you, and you don't know why. What's different between you and them? And I'm here to tell you, nothing is different between you and other people who have gotten the cosmic memos from the Great Divine. All you need to do is open up your heart and your mind and pay attention and tune in to this section of each individual cell in your body that is literally harboring God just below the surface. Feel God in every presence of every cell, and feel the presence of God in the individual cells, in your spiritual body, in your emotional body, in your mental body, your physical body, all of your parts of your being. Not just your physical being, but everything that is you, that makes up what you identify as the you that you are right now. You contain the Word of God, the Word of the living God inside every cell, inside every part, every component, every bit and vibration of your energy. All of the energies that combine to make you, you, are filled with the light of God. And when we say light, and I mean all ascended masters, when they say love and light, what we're meaning is the Spirit of God, which is pure love, which created you. You are literally a chip off the old block, as they say. You are a spark of energy off of the grandest, greatest energy in all of the universes, because you come from the divine creator who created all things. So you have that inside of you. And light is, as you know, it's a particle, it's a wave, but it's also packets of information. We've talked about this before. He says, I know Elena has mentioned this before. Yes, I have. And what you need to understand is that you don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to live in a cave. You don't have to be at a specific library or college or temple or church. You don't have to be in a group singing Kumbaya in Mount Shasta, California. You don't have to do specific rituals or paint your hair a certain color or wear a certain clothes. You don't have to don special shoes. You don't have to gather in a coven and dance naked under the moonlight at midnight on the 13th day of the 7th month or whatever. You don't have to do anything outwardly in order to know and feel the presence of divine within. All you need to do is sit quietly and genuinely and ask God for the light of God, or His light, her light. If you wish to say Mother God is okay too. You just allow the light to come in. Passive. You sit passively. You stare into your third eye. And you just take a deep breath, natural rhythm, natural cadence of breath. You don't want to hyperventilate. You don't want to not breathe. Many of you, when you're concentrating, you stop breathing and then you and you gasp for air. We, the spiritual masters, the ascended ones, we are always trying to get these messages to you that all you need to do is sit quietly in meditation, turn your energy inward, meaning stop paying attention to your physical body for a temporary bit of time. Turn your attention inwardly by staring at your third eye with your eyes half closed, half open. And when you stare at your third eye, you're going to allow light to come in more. You already have a light, but you allow more and more light to come in, and it will illuminate your body from within. Now, maybe you've already started to do this. Maybe you have meditated a little bit, and you feel the energy of the light, and you don't know what to do with it once you have it. So we're going to talk about that right now. You focus on your third eye, and when you draw inwardly, that energy opens up little packets of light and information comes bubbling up to the surface from every part of your body. You will feel energy like packets of light, like bubbles, almost like you have a fizzy soda, like a carbonate soda inside of you. And this bubbly energy will come up, 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 and you're going to start to feel the energy of the light that surrounds you in every direction. And when you pull in enough light, all the packets of light will open up, and you'll just feel a solid light. Some of you will visualize this as a slightly golden yellow white light. Some of you will visualize this as a blue white light. Some of you might even experience yellow or purple or green energy to the white light. Your perception is going to be different. It will also contain clues as to who you are and where you're needing to be. All right, okay, Master, I would like to know, what do you mean by that? This is me, Elena, asking, and so he says, okay, very well. When you, are you saying walk in fields of, okay, it says, when you walk in fields of wheat or walk in fields of grain, there is an energy of that golden harvest energy, and that is gold from the sunlight, but also from the wheat itself. Imagine that golden energy for a moment. And then now imagine that you are helping. Okay. So imagine that you are standing in front of a man who's in the middle of a wheat field and he's meditating. Imagine as the light goes into his body, what will happen? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to visualize this and relay the message at the same time. So, what will happen is if a man is standing outside and his energy that he sees is golden in nature, and he goes outside and he's in the sun and he's pulling in the energy of the sun, and he's saying he's standing next to a wheat field, which is a very good, strong energy. It's the energy of, he's saying staff support, but what do you mean by this? Like, imagine a man holding a staff that's very strong and powerful, and he holds it against the earth, and he puts his love and his energy and his time into the earth, and the earth in turn brings him all of the rewards he could possibly muster, because he's putting his energy and his love and light into the earth. So that golden energy, if you meditate and you see that, you are an earth healer. Wow. You are a way shower for those who wish to heal the earth. When you close your eyes and you wish to see, I don't know why he's showing me this, it's kind of weird. Are you showing me like a purple one? Like a green one? Alright, you're showing me like a glow-in-the-dark necklace on a string, and when you hold the energy, when you hold the necklace up to the sunlight or an artificial light, and then you go in a closet and you go in the dark and you see that energy, that green, when it's something that's green and glowing, and it's something that he's saying is not like an electric energy, because there's more color to electricity. If you can open your third eye enough, you're going to start to see, even if you put when you plug something into the wall, the energy of electricity is a different color. So he means like a child's toy or like a necklace. There's many around in the world, he knows still. There's the energy of that green glowing energy. So when you focus on your third eye and you are feeling like you want to imagine, visualize the energy of white light coming into you, when you feel the green energy come into you, you are a plant healer and an empath, and a big part of your spiritual practice and life should be sending that energy outward to all of the vegetation and the animals of Earth. And you can include human animals on Earth if you wish. All of nature sings and basks in the glow of the energy that you can give her. So if you meditate and the energy comes in your third eye and it's slightly green, it's yours to take care of the nature. If it is purple or a lavender, you're supposed to walk a path of an illumined master someday. So if you're brand new to spirituality and you see purple when you meditate, that means you are the kind of person that spiritually has been called a hermit. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's very noble that you wish to feel and pull in positive vibrational energy in order to help your fellow man, because you are a spiritual humanitarian. If when you close your eyes and you see pure white light, this means a couple things: that you come at the world from a place of innocence and joy, and I'm not quite getting that word. You come from a place in the world of I'm not catching this. So he's basically showing me when you close your eyes and then you feel the white energy, and it's just white light, and there's no extra no extra energy to it. He says you are calm and you're pure. You could be a brand new soul. You can also be I'm getting tripped up on this. So you could be your being in a pure and innocent form. You can tap into God the Father faster. And you're supposed to go inward more. So if you're seeing only white light when you go and stare at your third eye and you start to see the light, your body's being filled with light. It's all white light, but he's saying that there's tints to it. And that gives you a clue as to who you are as a person, where you fit into creation, what kind of creativity you should be having. And it helps you to connect to the ascended masters and to connect to the highest vibrational white light energy of God himself. He says you have to trust yourself no matter what kind of white light you're seeing, whether there's a tint to it or not. What's cobalt blue? He says you are meant to be working with the celestials, the angels, the sylphs of the air, and the like. Also, it could mean that you yourself a celestial or come from celestial origin. All right, that's good. Mine has always been slightly blue, and I never thought there was a difference between my ideas and other people's ideas as far as this is concerned. I didn't realize that it could be color-coded to let you know your life purpose. It makes it like so much easier, right? At least from a spiritual standpoint, what your life purpose is. Your spiritual purpose, basically. He says, yes, exactly. It's like a spiritual purpose that will, he's saying, bring people together, ultimately. All right, so is there another part you want to say? He says, try to sit with your spine straight as possible. If you cannot do that, it's uncomfortable, you can lay down on your back, not turning to your side, but just laying on your back, and you focus on your third eye, and also pull in the energy from the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, all the way through all the different body parts. And what we mean by that is your individual cells, your toes, your ankles, your lower legs. Just imagine every part of your body and imagine it receiving. I received a message where I said the word receiving. That was pretty cute. All right. That's very odd. Okay. Where were we? You pull in light from the bottom of your feet up when you lay in bed. And this... Okay, all right, that makes sense. I don't think you said this before in your lessons. All right, I was concentrating so hard, I felt energy just now leave my forehead, guys, and you heard the cupboard across the way. Just, it made a sound. And I know that when I'm thinking hard, and depending on where my head is pointed, where my nose basically is pointed, the energy goes out there, and now I'm noticing exactly how that's playing out. Because my nose is pointed to that cupboard. But see, that was the one above my right hand side of my head. Maybe I'm wrong then. Anyway, because I don't remember pointing my head that way and thinking, but that's... All right. Maybe it's not always for me, yeah? Okay, so Paramahansa Yogananda is trying to explain this. When you're laying in bed and you're laying on your... He says on your spine, basically you're laying on your back. You're not up on your sides or on, or face down, your face up, laying on your back. You pull in the energy from the feet because that is the part of you that usually is the most tired because it's been walking around or standing around all day. Even if you don't have a job, that's the one part of you that needs that extra special attention. So you pull it from the bottom of your feet up. And as you do so in your legs, if you have any cramps or any muscles that are stiff, you pull in the energy into the individual cells to help the muscle stiffness. And it goes all the way up over your knees, all the way up over your hips, and goes all the way through your body, down your arms, and up out through your head. And this is a very simple meditation that everybody could be doing and should be doing. If you can think about it every night, just pulling the energy from the bottom of your feet up. But if you're meditating, you focus only on your third eye and your body will be filled with light automatically. And if you are filled with pink energy, this is another one, your energy is to only love everybody you can, whether it is the consciousness of an animal like a cow or a dog, or a horse or a parakeet, no matter what kind of animal it is. If you have any kind of pets, your energy, your life purpose is just to love those pets and bring in a greater and greater, bigger and bigger energy of loving the earth. So I guess you forgot to mention this before I said about, I don't know what I said. I know what there's so much, you're giving me so much information with pictures and words, and he says, don't worry, it's going to come across in your voice whether you say the words or not. So he's assuming the downloads, upgrades, and light codes will be coming through my voice, so that's good. All right. So by the way, so if you start to feel a white light in your head and you feel your body fills up and you keep thinking pink, your energy is just to love all the animals in your life. Love, he's saying, your grandmother, and he said abuelo, your grandfather. Love your mother, your child, your sibling, anyone and everyone in your path, whether it is a sparrow outside on a tree or your grandmother in the kitchen baking you a pie, or your loved ones, your spouse, your marital partner, even the people, colleagues that you work with. If you pull in only pink energy without white, when you try to imagine only white light, what happens is you are meant to be more social, more gregarious, more outgoing, and you're supposed to love absolutely everybody, and you become like a love generator. And when you're a love generator, what happens is it radiates outward and you can affect the whole world that way. So that's what your individual thing is, he says also, if you pull in white light and there's an orange tint to it, this energy means you are creative, you're an artist. You could be an artist in the kitchen with food. You could be an artist with painting a canvas. You can be an artist as a musician. And energy of orange, it brings you that energy of being up and awake and alive and vibrant. And so if you feel orange-ish energy mixed in with the white, that is your life purpose, is that you are creative. You're a creative person. And you need to embrace your creativity as soon as possible. Okay, so, wow, you guys, I'm fighting going into a deep, deep, deep trance right now. I want to try to make sure I have a handle on what's going on. This is why I'm an indirect telepath, by the way. So, okay. Do we forget any others like that? No. Alright, yeah. He says there's no others that he could think of right now, and if it comes to you later that's different than what he said, it might be Divine Creator working through you to explain to you your own personal niche or your own ideas. He says, where you're going, because sometimes on different days you might have different alright, so he's showing me if you are visualizing and imagining the white lights coming in through your third eye and it's pouring into your body, and one day you see pink energy with that white light, another day you see orange. What that means is through your creativity you're going to spread love outwardly. So he just gave you the color coding keys to the universe as far as knowing what it is you want to be doing, what you came here to be doing, and what your soul wishes for you to do and accomplish this time around. It's like really deep. I'm hoping that the energy he's giving me to give to you guys, separate from the words I'm saying, I hope it's reaching you with the upgrades, downloads, and light codes. I'm hoping this is making sense, because I'm being bombarded by cosmic radiation, which is really intense and strong right now. And at the same time, in the solar wind's energy, but at the same time, his energy is really loving and calming, and I just feel like falling asleep in his arms, right? Like, like, a big brother would hug you, if you're little. Like, that's how I feel, like, just, So, hopefully this is making sense. All right, so now we're going to get back to this. When you're laying down, pull the white light from your feet up and outward, after it hits all parts of your body, radiate outward in all directions, and loop it back into yourself from your feet and up. And he's saying not unlike a toric field. Now, when you're sitting up and you're trying to consciously meditate to become spiritually enlightened and open your third eye so that you can see more about what's going on in your body, you pull that in from the top of your head and pull that energy down, 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 all the way down eventually to your feet, out your limbs, your arms to your hands. So when you're meditating, sitting up, pull the energy from the top of your head down. When you're laying in bed, pull the energy from the bottom of your feet up. And he says, because when you sit down and meditate, your mind is what races more than your body. It's your mind that needs the most attention at that moment when you're sitting down to meditate. When you lay down to go to sleep, it's your feet that ache the most out of all of your body. And then you can bring that energy up to heal yourself. And when you're spiritually seeking, it's from the top down, because the energy of light is coming into it's coming into your individual body and self, but at the same time you are being linked up with every other meditator at that time, and you're being linked up with all the spiritual people who have gone on the spiritual path before you. You will start to link up to them as well. Even if you don't know them, you're going to sense that they're there. And he's showing me the difference between the what he calls the white and the gray energy. When you connect to meditators who are brand new like you, you're going to have that white energy. It's newness and purity energy. And when you maybe I'm getting so much information, please backtrack a little bit. Oh man, this is getting rough. There's something so profound there, and I saw it and I couldn't put it into words right away. So okay, let's talk about that again, that concept. Okay, so I think we already talked about that, where if you're meditating and you're pulling energy from the top down, you have to calm your mind first and then gently calm the rest of your body. And it is a calming energy, but also energizing, especially when you start from the top down and you're sitting up. And when you're laying down and you pull the energy from your feet all the way up. So, I'm getting a jumble of words, so much information at once. I don't know, I'm not getting it. I just saw a cosmic wave go through my room. I've never seen that before. It just looked like mist or smoke. It's just like a wave of light, just, I don't know if you could tell, but I just got very calm. the energy coming in, and it was a pale lavender and blue. So Paramahansa Yogananda, when you see those two colors, he says it's a wave of spiritual energy to awaken the masses, and you just happen to catch the tail end of it, and it went throughout the whole world just now. And then the blue energy, it's one of calm and peace. And you just explained this to us, though. So the purple energy is high spiritual vibration, and the blue energy is speaking and telling your truth. I don't know if we covered this one yet. That's speaking and telling your truth. If you're an orator, a lawyer, somebody who gives lectures or talks and inspires people, you are an inspirational orator. If you see blue and white, oh, that makes sense, because that's what I see when I meditate. That's what I see. So it's blue and white. He's showing me something else now. Did we finish that when you're laying down and sitting up? Is there any other? Oh, yes, the walking meditation. Okay, great. We're going to get to the other thing first, later. Okay. When you do a walking meditation, you can pull the energy of the earth up through your feet and out and come back around to your feet, creating what could be shaped like a donut or a toric field, or you can bring the energy of the cosmos not just through the top of your head, but through the top half of your body, and maybe all at once, like a big umbrella covering you and going all the way down your entire he's also saying this helps with family lines. I'm sorry, it's disjointing because he's speaking so fast and giving so many quick images, it's hard to keep up. So he's showing the energy of the sun can come down from the top of your head, but also, I don't know, it's almost like you're pulling it in from every direction and every cell at once. And he says it's almost like every individual in creation, of the creation of nature, is sending you that love and that light all the time. And when you're willing to absorb it temporarily while you're walking, it brings a joy and energy to you that nothing else does. When you're consciously making an effort with every footfall on the earth. And the whole of nature will send it to you, and so you get bombarded from every angle of your body, not just in your head or in your feet. It's like you breathe it in, and it almost becomes like you're breathing in the energy of the world, you're breathing out the energy of the world, and you could just be sitting there or walking there, he's saying. You might not even be consciously aware of it, but yet it is. And that's why when you walk outside, you tend to feel a lot more energized, is because all of nature is sending you energy from every direction. He's saying from blades of grass to dandelions to trees, everything. When you're consciously and spiritually aware, you're going to become consciously and spiritually aware of the, like trees will shoot out oxygen at you. He says if you could see it on, with X-ray vision or on X-ray, trees don't just willy-nilly send out oxygen. If there are humans there, they will direct it towards the humans consciously. And he says, like trees and plants don't have the brains that we do, but they're operating from a higher vibrational, higher quantum standpoint, like things that we can't understand. Because it's not observable. So for us, it just seems like plants are, they're living, but they're not consciously living, but they're a lot more conscious than you would imagine. and they direct energy towards you. All right, so let's go to the other thing. Is there anything else about that? No. And if you want to give an even exchange, just take from the environment. And if you're feeling weak when you start your walk, that's okay to just take. But when you are feeling strong and powerful, you can breathe it in, and then when you breathe out, you're breathing outward in every direction. And it's like a vibration that sets up, and it's a different kind of energy where you're pulling it in and pulling it out and pulling it in and pulling it out, or sending it out, bringing it in. It becomes an equal exchange. Everything becomes an equal exchange. He's saying like an equal exchange of energy. And when you do that, it's like you breathe it in, you breathe it out, you breathe it in, you breathe it out. And that means you're a harmonizer and a balancer if you can master that quickly. And this energy is generally speaking white, although if you're feeling the energy of the blanket energy coming from the top down, if you could become aware of the energy, that is still it's like energy from the sun, energy from individuals around you, and also it could be just your own personal perception of the energy because of where you stand life purpose wise. The other thing is, if you resonate with someone's food, like street vendors, for example, or taco trucks or something like that, he's showing me, that food will call out to you, and your body will respond in kind. So, and if it's a vibrational match, you will be drawn to that food. Have you ever been out and you see 4 or 5 people selling food, and you're hungry, you're so starving, but you just, it's almost like an icy cold energy in your veins, even though it's in your nervous system. And it sometimes just feels like you don't want any of that food, even if you're hungry. And if you've ever thought of this conundrum and you feel like really strange, like why didn't you buy that energy or that food, which is energy? It's because you don't resonate with the energy of the food and the energy of the vendor. That's why you won't gravitate towards it, even if you are super hungry, and even if it's like hot dogs that you don't really like, or nachos, or ice cream, or whatever it is. If you normally like it and now you're not attracted to it. And he says you could like take ice cream, for example. If you're out and about and you see a street vendor selling ice cream, that might look absolutely terrible to you. You don't want to eat it. And you might hear from other people that they thought it was great. What's wrong with you? But it's because you don't resonate with that energy of the food itself and also of that vendor. But you could go home that very same day and be absolutely in resonance with the ice cream in your freezer. And he says this works with all food, but you have to become aware of energetically how the food is affecting you vibrationally before you even touch it or eat it or even smell it. Okay, so I don't know where to go up with that, but like I'm trying to come up with. Yeah, he says, so yeah, say there's a specialty cheese at a specialty shop. You might start thinking about it. You never stop thinking about it. But you could go to the grocery store and they might have 100 kinds of cheese available to pick, to choose from. And none of it resonates. So you just kind of go, ugh. And sometimes your mind will block it and your eyes can't even see it because it does not resonate with you. And he says this happens with a lot of different things, movies or clothes in a clothing store. Like you and your best friend could walk through an aisle of shirts or pants, and you might not see any of the clothes because they don't resonate with you. But for her, she has like already 5 pairs of pants in her arm because she recognizes the energy of it. It's okay. That's her energy, and it goes farther than that. The people who manufactured the clothes might be a vibrational match for you. So when you put on your favorite hoodie, maybe the person who created that hoodie or the person who made the artwork on that hoodie, that person is in resonance with you. So he's referring back to my fashion faux pas. He says, yeah, sometimes you might be attracted to wearing clothes that don't make any sense to other people. But it's because you resonate with the person who made the clothes. You resonate with the place the clothes came from. You resonate with the colors of the clothes. You recognize, you resonate with maybe the shape or the look of the clothes, but most importantly, the fabric of the clothes, because you're going to be affected by everything that you buy, everything that you're near, everything that you absorb into your system. You only can do so because of the resonance within and the resonance without. And so we're asking you, and he's saying, just all the ascended masters in heaven at this time that he's with, he's saying, we're asking you to please become more aware of the energy around you. And the more energy that you relate to, and the more energy you wish to take in as well as give out in even an equal exchange, the more you're going to be able to lose your density of your physical body and go up, 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 higher, higher and higher and ever higher into the 5th dimension. And you're already there, but he's saying higher and higher up in. All right, he's saying, I know this is a lot to take in, so the biggest takeaway you can get out of this conversation is that energy is real, energy exists, become aware of it, and then become aware of how you receive it, and then become aware of how you exchange it with others, and how you just send it out into the world in general. Become aware of any colors that pop into your mind while you're imagining the energy going places. And then you can start to see the color inside of your head. You will start to resonate to everything and understand what resonates with you. He's saying you live in an electrified universe filled with energy, electromagnetic energy and other forms of energy. But when it comes right down to it, it's all coming from God, and everything is God energy. Some of it's recycled and seemingly old, but it's all a renewable resource because it's a fully, he says it's like fully funded. It's a fully fundable resource. It's constantly there and around you. So don't worry about taking energy from plants, having an energy exchange with somebody else, which could be anything from a handshake to eye contact to making love to them if they're your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So you have different circumstances in which energy approaches you. Oh, I looked and it said 5555. He says, you see, that's one of your energy resonances. The 5555 at 5 a.m. on the nose, by the way. He says sometimes you're going to resonate to different times, not just plants and food and people and animals and circumstance and parts of the ground. Different times of the day will resonate with you more. So you might start to see that certain times of the day are your power grab, where you're going to grab as much power with your body as humanly possible because, hey, it's 6 a.m. and that's where your energy is, or hey, it's 4 p.m. and that's where your energy is. You know, the guy at 6 a.m, he might exchange with, maybe he has goldfish swimming in a bowl and they exchange energy, and maybe he eats a specific kind of breakfast food, and that's where he gets his energy. But maybe someone in the afternoon, they get their energy from going on walks in nature, and nature gives them the energy. You see, even though all energy is just energy, electrons are electrons, it depends on where they're coming from and how they will affect you. So, and all of it is individual, see? That's why you have the whole, the collective and the individual are both within the whole. That's what he's trying to say. All right. He says, I think I've given you more than enough to think about right now, and you're probably going to have to hear this 2 or 3 times, or some of you 4 or 5 times, to study this and understand where all the energy is coming from, how you exchange with your environment. He says, it's time for me to go now, but I love all of you. And he says, with the God in me, I bow down to the God in you, and I bless you, and I bless you, and I bless you. And he's, okay, and I'm saying now you can end transmission, Paramahansa Yogananda. He says, with pleasure. Okay. Namaste. Okay. He's bowing to me, and that's the end of the transmission. Well, there it is. Whew, that was deep, man. I kept going very, very deep in trance. I love Paramahansa Yogananda very much and trust him a lot, so it's pretty interesting stuff. I hope that you got something out of it. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. I want to thank you for your continued confidence and faith in my abilities. Thank you, all of you who said happy birthday to me. A lot of you have done that, and I want to thank you for that. And what else? That's it. I love each and every one of you. I'm glad we're on this ascension journey together. I wanted to thank you for liking, subscribing, favoriting, and forwarding, and telling everybody in your Twitter followers, everyone in your Instagram feed, and everyone on your Facebook spiritual groups, because my numbers are growing, and that means, well, my son and I are going to be able to eat a little more. If you know of any celebrities, let them know, if they're spiritual, that this is a good podcast, and maybe they might want to tell a few people, maybe on TV or in a magazine, in an interview, maybe something like that. I don't know. It will help me greatly. So that's it. I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys. Peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.